so as you progress through the levels, it's quite okay to start to use your blue tool, as long as the blue tool doesn't take place of your hands. But the blue tool, aka the Knobble on Amazon, is really good through the deep, strong muscles through the hindquarters. Okay, so I'm just going to work through some of the hindquarters here and demonstrate how I use the blue tool when it comes into effect. So I will start with my deeper effleurage strokes over the glutes, on top of the biceps femoris, and then I'm going to start with my searching rake, so the pads of all my 8 fingers hooked in front of the pelvis, and I'm just going to pull down over the top of the glutes, biceps femoris, and down towards semitendinosus and semimembranosus. I'm just going to do that a couple of times, up next to the sacrum, and then I'm going to move down an inch, so again the pads of my fingers in front of the pelvis, raking down, really starting to soften through the tissue, passing of gas, a good release, so twice through the middle, and then just move down another inch towards the top of the tubercocci, and pulling quite deeply through biceps femoris down towards semitendinosus. And then what I'm going to do again, I'm going to utilise her skeletal frame. So I'm actually going to work with some zigzags up towards the sacrum. So again, any tension, any adhesions, I can work them up towards the sacrum into this bone here to help break up any adhesions. So the pads of my fingers again, starting at the tubercocci, pushing up to the sacroiliac area, and working my way down, zigzagging through, and really pushing quite deeply up towards the sacrum, across the biceps, and don't really go any further down than the tuber ischium here, the seat bones, and then back up to where you started, just starting to lighten your pressure when you get up to the sacroiliac area towards lumbosacral junction. And then this is where the blue tool comes in, because then you have enough blood saturation, you've opened the tissue, you've prepped it, then you have enough prep work to go in and use the blue tool. So I'm just going to go in and palpate again, and any particular hard areas, any areas of tension I feel. So through the gluteal muscle here, again it just feels quite hard, feels like a dormant stress point. There's actually no pain response from her, but it is a hard area. So before I use my blue tool, I'll go in with some direct pressure, and my chosen method will be my elbow, because we're in the driving, the powerful muscles here. She's dropped and relaxed her pelvis, so she's happy. And I'm just going to use my elbow up to a minute. Be very careful, there's a lot of pressure can come from your elbow, so you don't need to do too much pressing. And just constantly monitor their foot placement, where their limb is. You're in a kick zone, and also keep an eye on their eye and their responses. And because this is such a deep driving muscle, the blue tool is going to come in really handy now for plenty of cross fibre friction. So when I take the pressure off here, you're going to have a surge of blood, oxygen and nutrients to this area, because I've compressed this area, stopped that from happening, and when I take it away, you're going to have that surge and that's what's going to feed the muscle and aid in the recovery and the repair. So then take in the blue tool, and it's so important to have the knobble end of it and that flush with the horse, and then you can cross fibre up through the gluteals, just crossing over the top of the biceps. And this is a superb area for the blue tool. I'm not going over any bony prominences. Lots of cross fibre friction. If you press the blue tool just the circle into the tissue, then you're risking bruising and using too much pressure. So make sure that and that is flush with the horse, so there's no chance of, or less chance of bruising, and you can go any which way you want. You can work back up to the sacrum and further down over the top of the biceps. And you can also turn the tool round and use the long flat end to effleurage it out and drainage, to get everything back into the system. So it's a perfect tool for drainage strokes. And then again, it doesn't replace your hand, so you need to go in and ensure that the tissue is fluid and supple. Make sure that you haven't missed anything and that the tissue has responded. So have no problem with students using these, as long as it isn't a replacement of your hand and you do keep going and back and checking the tissue regularly.